The opinions expressed are those of the show's host and not the staff or management of Port St. Lucie Broadcasters. Any reproduction without written consent of WSTU and WPSL is strictly prohibited. Now it's time for Quality of Life Radio, brought to you by WellMed. Here are your hosts, Gary Owen and Tom Bouvier.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Gary Owen here, and welcome to this fabulous, wet Tuesday morning in Stewart. It's August 3rd already. Unbelievable. Where in the heck is the time going? By the way, you are listening to the Quality of Life Radio Show. Again, my name is Gary Owen.
And my name is Tom Bouvier.
And we're bringing live what show?
The Quality of Life Radio Show.
I understand that it's the world famous, red hot, wild, crazy, phenomenal, fun show with you and me.
Absolutely. And if you don't love our
Dream
show, it's because you're dead or you're not listening.
We're sleeping.
Or sleeping.
So, and by the way, this show is proudly sponsored by WellMed, United Healthcare, and Lot Insurance Services. And we happen to have the Lot brothers in the house with us this morning. And I want to say thanks to those that are watching us live on Facebook. Thanks for tuning in. Share us with your friends, family, neighbors, loved ones. And also, you can catch us live in the studio, www.wstutv.com. You're catching us live or broadcasting simultaneously on WSTU 1450 and WPSL 1590. So we are here, Tom, for what reason? Every single week. We don't have a life, but what else? What other reasons are we here?
Well, Gary, we labor and we really bring content together to bring relevant content to our listeners. The second reason we come together is to showcase and support local business owners. And we have two of our favorite ones here in the studio today. And we also love to educate and bring information to people to help improve their quality of life.
Bingo. And by the way, just want to make sure that you stay for the last half of the show, because for the first part of the show, we're going to have Joe and Frankie Lott share some information with us. And then the second part of the show, Tom and I is going to share some information with you and what we call Insurance Straight Talk. We're going to just absolutely break down some information to make it simple for you to understand. But what we're going to talk about today are the top 5 pitfalls to avoid when selecting an ACA health insurance plan. Now, we've got some feedback on last show where we did the top 10 tips you should know about Medicare. We went through it quickly because we ran out of time. So based on today's schedule, if we have some time, we can revisit the last 4 or 5 points that we went over very quickly. So stay tuned. And also, I want to share some information with our listening audience about free COVID shots for seniors, where they will come to their home, or they can and do the shot at the front door, or they can be transported to a facility to have their shots. So we're going to provide that information. It's a toll-free number, and I think we need to get that information out to our residents. So, by the way, it's time right now to introduce you to this week's guest, Frankie and Joe Lott of LIS. I love the acronym LIS, and I have in my mind what I think LIS should be, but we should probably keep this. This is a PG, or is it a G-rated show?
G.
Okay.
Yeah. With a P.
With a P. Well, Joe and Frankie.
FCC gets
Yeah, we don't want FCC knocking on the door here. We'll get in trouble.
Can we go back to the topic about free shots and a ride?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Frankie.
Frankie, I'll give you. You stay tuned. We'll give you the toll-free number so you know where to go and who to call.
Shots. Yeah.
Free shots and a ride.
So it's good to have you guys back in the studio with us this morning. There's a lot of things that are changing with the insurance regulations, and you're here to talk to all these people about what's going on with their premiums, how they can save premiums, what they should be looking out for, and the pitfalls to avoid, because we know you guys have been on the Trisha Coast for many, many years, and you do what's right, just like we do, what's right for our clients 100% of the time. So give us some update, guys.
Go ahead, Joe. Take it away, buddy.
All right. Good morning, Gary. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tom. Great to see you guys. Let me fix this a little bit. All right. Yeah, no, it's definitely been a little bit of a challenge this year. As we, a few months, we were here a couple months ago and we talked about that. Look, it's one of those things, and you guys know it being in the business. It's one of those things you don't want to pay for, but you need. It's you just have to have it. I mean, and the cost of, and I brought some more statistics today to go over with the audience to let them know, like, especially flood insurance is a big one. People, they get flood policies, 2 years ago, because we had a heavy rain. There was a lot of flooding going on in St. Lucie County and Port St. Lucie. And so people, they buy it, keep it for a year, and they let it cancel. And again, I know it's an expense, but just to think about the cost, your average flood policy is how much, Frankie?
$550, give or take.
There you go. So 500, you have a, $25,000 flood loss. Think of the, weigh your options there. I mean, that's a big cost. I mean, that's a lot of money,
Joe, but let me stop you there for a second, though. I think most people have a misconception about flood insurance. So walk us through what it means to have flood insurance and what it means if you don't have flood insurance, whether there's a storm or maybe if there's not a storm.
You want me to
go ahead?
Yeah.
I'll
So
come back.
basically, homeowners insurance covers a broken ice machine, toilet supply line, hot water heater blows up, air condition overflows. Those are all water claims, water related claims to a homeowner's policy. Flood insurance is surge waters, rising waters, heavy thunderstorm, tropical depression water. So if your surrounding neighborhood, you could be miles away from the ocean or river, but if that neighborhood starts sustaining, levels of rain, 12, 13, 14 inches of heavy downpour, the water can enter the home from rainwaters. That is the definition of flood. And a lot of people take it for granted and say, I'm not in a flood zone. There's no such thing as not being in a flood zone.
In Florida, for sure.
Right. The Zone X is a preferred
Ask Noah.
zone. Doesn't mean that you're not technically in a flood zone. But just to piggyback on flood zones, Houston, Louisiana, 90%, the majority of those people were in a 100-year floodplain, which is a floodplain Zone X. Preferred zone. So think about that. I guarantee you they were all thinking the same thing everybody thinks.
Exactly.
It's just hogwash. I don't need flood insurance. This is silly.
Right.
It's never going to happen to me.
Yeah. And to piggyback on Frankie's thing is about 80% of the Hurricane Harvey victims in 2017 did not have flood insurance. The people in those storms. I know you guys remember that. That was a big one.
My
2000,
God. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it cost $35 billion in flood damage. Let that weigh in. So people are like, oh, well, FEMA's going to come in. We know who's paying for that? Us.
Mhm.
If everybody bought a $400-something flood policy, I'm not saying all of them are $400 or $500. Some are more, but
And some are less.
Yeah.
and so the statistics. So that's another one. So one of the other things I wanted to just mention is that about 1.2 million properties in the Houston, Sugarland, Baytown area in a high moderate risk flood did not have roughly half of all those properties out of 1.2 billion did not have flood insurance.
And we're on the peninsula. I mean, we're in the peninsula.
Yes.
And in the middle of the peninsula is a largest body of water. I
Right,
mean,
right.
Lake Okeechobee. Come on.
Right. And the thing is we are giving you Houston statistics, but we're just giving you an idea of what you could see in the years to come. And Frankie, believe me, Frankie and I do not want a storm. We don't want people to have to go through the headaches of having claims because it's not fun as we deal with the everyday people, ripping their kitchens out. But it sure makes you feel better knowing that you are going to get compensated and you're not going to have to come out of pocket for that money.
So, Joe, I have a question. Out of the 80% of the Houston residents who did not have insurance, how many of those do you think said, I wished I would have purchased flood insurance?
Clear.
Yeah, right?
100%. Because remember, too, people, the FEMA, they come in, but they're not going to pay 100% of the damages. They can only pay a percentage of it. So you still had to come out of pocket. And, with those claims. So it's people, have this misconception of that it's just, FEMA's going to come in and pay for all of it. They're not going to pay for the whole thing. They can't. So
Not even close.
yeah, not close. But again, and we just want to educate people, because again, we see it all day long. We have a lot of the Port St. Lucie area and the Indian River Estates area in Fort Pierce, the White City, the up in Lakewood Park area. I mean,
Right.
these are all great, great neighborhoods, but they do flood. So
Yeah. For example, FEMA came in and revised the maps and good old Indian River Estates. And it's been close to a decade now. They put in some pumping stations. It needed to happen. It should have happened. The difference is what they should have never came in and changed the flood layout ever. They should have remained in a flood zone. So I guarantee you 90%, even probably more, of Indian River estates and good old Fort Pierce is going uninsured when it comes to flood because they feel, we're covered.
Right.
Well, what if those pumping stations don't work? Or what if we get 20 inches of rain and it's only a category 1 or just 60-mile-an-hour sustained winds and it just sits here in Fort Pierce and just keeps dumping water? No coverage, people. No coverage.
Yeah, and just to give you the last interesting statistics is that Katrina and Sandy, after a year after those both storms, now this is Katrina, and then after a year, 12% of those homeowners don't have insurance out of 100% of people that so they let it drop. They every year they wait a year and they say it hasn't been a Katrina, which was horrible as we know. I mean, Tom, you remember Katrina? I mean,
absolutely.
So
I was there.
It was just absolutely
Our
horrible.
relatives were devastated.
Right, right. So, after that year, I know people get a little, feel like a little comfortable, they can breathe and so on. But just remember, everybody, keep in mind, you really should do it. So anyway, I know we've been hammering flood insurance, but just one thing we want to say, and I know how much time we have, but again, Frank and I want to mention thank you to everybody out there that do support us. Thank you for all the referrals. Thank you for we have some phenomenal customers. I mean, I tell you, we have great, loyal, 17 years they've been with us. So we thank to those people too for all.
Well, we love referring to our affinity partners who will do the right thing and have integrity and have ethics in business. So you guys deserve it. So kudos to you both. And if you're out there, thank you. We appreciate that. And folks, if you're out there and you're not happy with your current property and casualty company where you've got a recent price increase, give Frankie and Joe Lott a call. That doesn't cost you a single dime to pick up the phone and say, hey, here's my situation. Is there anything you can do for me?
I mean, you might get a Cajun joke, so it's going to cost you something.
Well, what, 5 seconds of a laugh? Come on.
Well, that's the thing. Like Gary says, again, you guys have been great to us. Thank you, Gary, and thank you, Tom, and you guys do a great job. We get a lot of people that they go to you. They say you're the best. So, and the Treasure Coast, and heck, all the way down to Miami, the Key West too. So, anyway,
we appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. And the thing is, we do it daily. People call us. I mean, we had yesterday one of our clients that we don't write part of their insurance, and he just had some questions. That's what we do. We answer the questions. We're not going to charge you to answer those questions, but our goal is to hopefully help you save some money and get you in the right direction. So
no, it's not a bad idea. Maybe we should start charging for questions,
like attorneys, right? Have the little timer. As soon as you
here you go.
Put them through.
You'll like this one. We have some great people that work on our computers, but I saw the invoice and I thought, man, they charged us for a half hour. It's $100 and something. I thought Frankie and I could talk to people for an hour on the phone. We can't charge them.
we got in the wrong business.
I know. IT's where it's at, people.
It truly is. My IT smiles every time he walks in and out my door. Trust me.
As he's getting out of his $80,000 truck.
Yeah. One of them.
Sorry, Joey.
Well, we got another 2 minutes before we go on our first break. So I know you got a lot of statistics. Anything else that's interesting to share?
I was actually going to let Frankie talk because this is his big thing is just to mention our referral party again. We do have a referral party to thank everybody because, again, people, we are so lucky to see that people just say, hey, call the Lott Brothers. I mean, they don't have to do that, but they do, and it's great. So Frankie's going to tell you a little bit about our referral program, when it's coming up and when our party and so on.
Do we set a date or you just
make sure it doesn't conflict? Make sure my calendar is clear.
Right. We got our calendars here.
Yeah. So every year we pick a restaurant, obviously that's our client. And year after year, we still have time?
1 minute.
Okay. So we're going to do it sometime in October, and we're going to do it on a Thursday evening. So there's no sports involved or family weekend plans, but all it takes is for Tom Bouvier to tell Jane Smith to call us. That's it. Tom gets a ticket. All she has to do is pick up the phone and call us. We don't have to write the policy. We just have to offer her a proposal and say, hey, tell Tom we appreciate you calling. Tom does that 50 times a year. He gets 50 tickets to our referral party. And believe me, we have some wonderful bankers out there, wonderful mortgage brokers that are, and realtors, you name it, that are so good to us. And they come with a slew of tickets. This year, Joe and I are going to step it up. Some of our gifts might be a little above and beyond.
I hear there's a Porsche being given away.
Oh, that is not happening.
A sailboat?
Yeah.
By chance?
We're going to release some of the things, but yeah, we are going to give some good gifts. That would be a great. Maybe your brother's sailboat would donate. So.
Your brother's sailboat. Give me the address. I'll have that thing towed.
It's getting a bottom job right now as we speak.
All right, we're going to go on our first break of the show. And when we come back, we're going to get some more phenomenal information from Joe and Frankie Lott of Lott Insurance Services, and they are one of the sponsors of our show. This is a great time to go ahead and take a potty break while our technician is trying to figure out the buttons over here. You're listening to the Quality of Life Radio Show with Gary Owen and Tom the Bouvier on this fabulous wet Florida Tuesday morning. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back from our short break. You're listening to the one and only world famous Quality of Life Radio Show. A big thank you to one of our sponsors of our show, and they happen to be with me this morning, so I'm going to do this like with perfection and precision. Lott Insurance Services. You can trust them for all of your home, auto, boat, and business insurance needs. If you're looking to save a lot, you got to call a Lott Brothers. So they're located on US 1 just north of Midway Road in beautiful St. Lucie County. And also we want to say and give a big shout out and thank you to another one of our sponsors, WellMed Medical. You know that a good primary care physician is always in great demand, and so many out there currently do not have a primary care physician. So go check out WellMed Medical for all of your primary care needs, and they have 4 convenient locations right here on the Treasure Coast. All right, so the Lott Brothers are excited to get back on the radio again and move on up to the microphone, because I know they've got a lot more valuable information to share to our audience this morning. So what do you guys have next on the list besides the Porsche? And by the way, how much does it cost to insure that Porsche? I know a good insurance agency you could probably call to get you a good deal.
It's not as bad as you think, I promise. Nowhere near what my 16-year-old cost me.
So, last time we were on the show, it seemed like a year ago, but we were talking about the roof situation.
Yes.
So talk to us about how that's looking out and panning out right now.
I truly believe that some of our wonderful carriers in the state of Florida are going to step it up. We're going to come up with a different program. I hope I'm right with my prediction, but there's a lot of 04, 05, 06 roofs that people just truly can't afford to replace. I mean, those are facts. A hurricane might not come this year and give them the blessing that they're looking for to get a new roof because it was taken off by a storm. But let's say 2 years from now, if those people are in the same situation, I think what customers will be offered is more of an actual cash value for their property, their roof in particular. And what I mean by that is if they do sustain damage and it's in that poor of condition, what the company will do is say, listen, a whole new roof is going to cost $18,000. I'm just throwing a number out there. But actual cash value, because of the wear and tear and the condition of your roof, we're going to give you $10,000 towards your claim. Although it doesn't sound fair, and I don't think a lot of people will look at it as a fair analogy. I mean, right now, saying it out loud, I don't think it's fair. But companies have taken so much of the brunt of fraudulent claims, contractor involvement, door knockers. Joe said it last time we were here. They went from $650 million in roof claims in 19 to 1.7 billion in 20. And we all know, sitting here in this room, there was no storms. It's just
astronomical number.
It's just ridiculous.
Right.
And they paid them. And of course, people are sitting pretty with their new roofs and their, $2,500 deductibles, $1,000 deductibles, and they got a $20,000, $25,000 roof on their home.
And everyone's wondering why the premiums are going through the roof.
Bingo.
Right.
That's another thing we could talk for hours about, but I think that's my prediction. And another thing, I truly believe that the state of Florida is on the verge of coming up with yet another wind mitigation inspection program. Right now, it's roughly 4 pages long. There's some detailed pictures. I think the next step is going to be, there's a whole nother tab on there about the life expectancy, the granular loss. Even if the roof's 2, 3, 5 years old, I think that's our next challenge or obstacle, in my opinion. Guys are going to have to spend more time getting out there doing roof inspections than they are now, but at least it gives people a clear picture of what market you do and do not qualify for. So
kind of stinks what's going on out here and causing the premiums going through the roof, number one. And secondly, we're seeing insurance carriers actually closing their doors and going out of business.
Yeah, the Gulfstream is one of them. We don't represent Gulfstream. I wish them all the best, but they have thousands of policyholders that are looking for homes right now. If that's part of you guys out there on the air, give us a call. We have markets. I do want to clarify, if you have an 04, 05, 06 roof, we still have markets. There is no answer right now. The only no answer is if your home is just in bad shape, disrepair, air condition issues, electrical issues, plumbing issues, and roof issues, it's tough to find you a home. But if the roof is the only thing that's, on your checklist, we can help you. Give us a call.
And by the way, besides homeowners insurance, you guys do a lot more. So why don't you share with our audience what else that you do?
Yeah, we do auto insurance, and we're pretty darn good at that. Thanks for mentioning the fact that my rates are high because of my car.
I mean, you said it was affordable.
That's right. The 16-year-old is the high.
No,
rate.
actually, with my daughter's grade point average and my clean record, my insurance is very affordable. No denying it. Yes. Families, teenagers, retirees, we have a market for all of you. If you're looking at your renewal from the Lizard or from
the slimy lizard.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they don't insure people. They're just a big conglomerate. they're not small business owners writing Geico. So I can say that word. I don't care. Sue me.
The G word.
Yeah.
Don't. No, that's
That's
Frank.
my middle initial.
Yeah, Frankie, that was the last good point. Is like we mentioned this before in there, but we are a local agent. We're not a national company. We represent
That's
local.
right.
We represent Florida companies. We're very proud to be a family agency for 17 years.
Bingo.
There's not many left in this town. I mean, we have a lot of colleagues that they've gone to sell, but there's a few. But we're very proud to say that we answer the phone when you call. We always call you back on the weekends. We call you back after hours because we want you guys to feel the love that we're here to help you guys in a time of a situation that could be. It's interesting though, Gary and Tom, is people always like to open their mail on Sunday. And we get a lot of calls on Sunday, voicemails about got a letter from my insurance carrier. But no, it's great. And we're really proud to say that we are local and we're a family agency and we always will be. So thank you.
I don't think that's important because Tom and I, we face that as well. And there are so many call centers and people that are calling our prospective clients out there incessantly, calling them, texting and sending letters and postcards. And it doesn't make sense for me. It doesn't make sense to go out and work with a call center and establish a relationship with someone that you have no idea who they are.
Agreed.
And how are you going to establish a relationship with someone in another state that you have no idea that they have your best interest at heart?
Good point, Gary. I have a habit, and Joe does too. We collect all our junk mail, and we usually bring it in on Fridays to one another and say, hey, check this out. Just yesterday, Joe, I got one from an agency in Orlando, and he's marketing the East Coast of Hutchinson Island, South and North Hutchinson Island, because I did hear from a couple colleagues, hey, man, I got this guy's, letter. And I thought, how are you creating a relationship, number one, via mail, junk mail? But how are you creating a relationship just saying, hey, I can write it for half of what you're paying right now? I mean, the funny thing is, I guarantee you that mailer is we're either less and our premiums are better or they're around the same, but
Right.
hysterical that people would pick that up and call and say, hey, I got a letter from some random, Yoko looking to save me some money. And I say, oh, well, you're actually paying this. And they're like, oh, so it's less than the proposal you sent me. Thank you. I'm like, yeah, by the way, you just called my cell, right? At 6:45 on a Tuesday.
There you go.
Who's loyal to you?
There you go.
We are.
And
just as you guys are.
And to your point too, Frankie, we just had a client that Tom was working with that we offered a premium to, and she comes back and says, oh, this other guy, I got it for like $30 a month, less than half of what you guys quoted for me. So I'm going to go with this guy. Come to find out, there are nefarious people out here, and they don't have your best intentions at heart. All they care about is filling their pockets. So to Frankie and Joe's point about working with a local agency that has the reputation and integrity and ethics in business, by the way, we are a finalist with the Better Business Bureau for the Torch Award, which is ethics in business.
Beautiful.
So they can rely on us and rely on our integrity. That we'll always do the right thing. But what these people were doing is when they were getting the information about their how much they were paying, how much they were reporting for their income, their annual income, the agent on the other side of the phone was cutting that income in half and saying, oh, well, I can get you a premium for $29 a month. These other people overquoted you. Amazing what is going on out there. And the consumer doesn't know until it's too late.
Right.
Then at the end of the year, when they do their
They get an
taxes,
audit. Yeah.
crap.
Well, that,
I mean,
on
That's
the
Joe's
thousands of
field in
dollars.
commercial.
on the drive down here, Frank, I was just talking about that. It's like the honesty. It's very disturbing to hear that agencies are doing that. And I'm not saying all agencies. That's not right for us to say that, but we are. Frankie and I are by the books. I mean, we're not going to write your insurance if we feel that it's something that you're not being truthful about. We're just not going to do it. We want to make sure that at the time of the claim that you're going to get paid, and that's what we care about. You get paid. If we do a dishonest thing, you're not going to get paid. You're going to be upset with lot insurance, just like you guys.
And
So,
typically we see this,
absolutely.
it happens a lot with agents and agencies that are captive to one specific company.
Mhm.
So when you, and they're pressured they're pressured by their managers and the leadership team to make sales no matter what it takes. You need to have 10 sales today. So they will say and they will do what they need to do to keep their job. So that is not the right position to be in. You need to work with an independent agency who has your best interest at heart, who represents all the different various carriers. So let us do the analysis for you on your behalf, and we will tell you the good, the bad, the ugly, so you can make an informed decision and an informed choice.
Absolutely.
Let us be your guide. And this is what we do.
So getting back to what do we offer as far as our services, commercial, boat, motorcycle, RV, travel trailers, you name it, yachts, commercial strip malls. We can do just about anything
Golf carts.
property wise. Good point, Gary. Guy called me the other day. We've been friends for years. He says, "Hey man, I called Boat US, another big conglomerate. I got a $500 a year premium on my boat." I said, "Fantastic. Send it over to me. Let me look at it." He was literally pulling out of the dealership with his new boat in 24 hours. Sent him a proposal. I said, "This is for $540 a year." He goes, "Well, I appreciate your time, man." I said, "Look at the highlighted areas and call me right back. Don't sign anything." That premium for $40 more was giving him $90,000 total replacement on his boat. His policy was offering him 45 grand for the boat he just paid $90,000 for. And then it was an actual cash value, which means in 2 years, he could potentially have gotten a check for $38,000. With our policy for the first 3 to 5 years, he gets a check for replacement.
Wow.
So if that 2020 boat in 2024 cost $137,000, that's what they're writing him a check for. Pretty amazing if you just read the print.
And most people are too busy for themselves to figure all this stuff out.
Darn right. That's what we're here for, people.
This is what we're here for.
Right.
Joe, Gary, Frankie, the Boo, we are here for you. And we will shed the light and we'll pierce the darkness of unethics. And we will do what's right for you. So we're happy.
Fiduciary.
Yes,
That's
indeed.
a big word,
I
Tom.
like that.
I learned it yesterday. Don't know what it means.
But we do it.
Uh,
We'll do it to it. But true
look
though.
out
I
for
mean,
your best
seriously, it's always doing what's right, ethically, legally, and being responsible for our client to only recommend those plans that are suitable for our clients. And unfortunately, it isn't just like any other industry. There are people out there that don't have your best interest at heart. But, you know, when you've been here on the Treasure Coast, like I have for 35 years, and the Lot Brothers been here for 150 years, you know, you got to go with the people that you know. And if you don't know them, then you need to know them. One of my managers, Mike Barbone, I hope he's listening. I hope he's feeling better. Mike Barbone tells every agent that he comes in contact with, if you don't know Gary Owen, you need to know Gary Owen. So
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Lot Brothers. If you don't know the Lot Brothers, you need to get to know the Lot Brothers. If you don't know Owen Insurance, you need to get to know Owen Insurance Group. So when we come back from our second break, Tom and I are going to share some information with you about the top 5 pitfalls to avoid when selecting ACA health plans. If we have some time after that, we're going to finish up on the last 3 or 4 tips of the Medicare that we breezed through last Tuesday. And don't touch that dial. You're listening to the Quality of Life radio show with Gary Owen and Tom the Bouvier, WSTU 1450 AM and WPSL 1590 AM. We'll be right back. right, and welcome back to the Quality of Life Radio Show. Tom, we have another commercial.
Absolutely. We want to send a big thank you to one of the sponsors of our show, and that's United Healthcare. And did you know that you could actually enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan that includes access to their statewide and even nationwide provider network? And that's why it's always the time to take advantage of a plan from United Healthcare. This is for Medicare recipients. So with the United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan, you get more for your Medicare dollar, including benefits like $0 copays for covered preventative dental services, $0 copays for lab services, access to the United Healthcare and Medicare nationwide national network. So you can talk to a licensed representative today about United Healthcare and Medicare Advantage plans, and you could find one of those representatives and licensed agents at Owen Insurance Group.
Who are they?
They are the people looking in the mirror. That would be you and I. So give us a call at 772-210-1020.
All right. And also at the beginning of the show, I advised everybody that we would share some information for those seniors who can't get out and are interested in getting a COVID shot. If you don't have transportation, they will come to you or they will come and pick you up and take you to a facility so you can have your COVID-19. So if you're interested in having a shot, you can contact 800-96-ELDER. That's 1-800-963-5337. And again, 800-96-ELDER, ELDER, or 800-963-5337. And one last thing I want to also share with everybody about health facts, because this is a show that Tom and I do weekly. Now it's about a year now, Tom, that we've been doing the show. We like to share at least one fun health fact that you should know. And this fact here has nothing really to do with Florida, especially in the summertime. It says cold temperature can be good for your health. If you live in Canada, you know all about cold weather. But did you know that colder temperatures can benefit your health? Colder temperatures may help reduce allergies and inflammation. And research has shown that it can help you think more clearly and perform daily tasks much better. The cold can also help lower the risk of disease. Mosquitoes that carry disease such as Zika, West Nile virus, malaria, and they're not around during the winter season. So I guess we do see a little cold weather come January, February, March. So those are the temperatures where you get healthier. And I guess probably form more boogers too. So whatever. But it's all about being healthy.
Where did that come
in the
from?
Cold temperatures.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right, getting back to serious issues.
Was there a bet you had to fit boogers into a conversation?
Well, Tom didn't think I had the kahunas to do it.
But he did it.
All right. So, top
$20.
5 pitfalls to avoid when selecting an ACA plan. So, listen, folks. Seriously, August 15th, you need to circle that date on your calendar. Get up off the couch right now. Stop the car. Quit working. Get your calendar out. Circle August 15th.
Sunday.
That is the deadline. Saturday and Sunday, Tom will not, prior to the 14th and 15th, Tom will be out of pocket. So Tom is not going to be taking your calls if you wait to the last second to do your ACA health enrollment plan. But it's amazing, though, Tom, that there are still a lot of people out here that haven't, for some reason, one reason or another, they have not taken advantage of the opportunity to take a look at the plan that they currently have now to see what we can do to help save them money, lower their premiums. It's an amazing thing to hear in the insurance industry that we can lower your health insurance premiums, not raise them like my P&C friends over here are having to deal with, but we can lower your health insurance premiums. Yes, it's not a lie. It's not a ruse. It's absolutely factual. And Tom, we're doing it every single day.
We are, with the help of Uncle Sam.
Yes.
In the form of tax credits.
Tax subsidies. Folks, listen,
Right.
If you haven't gotten an opportunity to get a health insurance policy, you need to take a look at it. You need to call Owen Insurance Group. You need to pick up the phone today, dial 772-210-1020, and let us take your information. The call is free. The analysis is free. We will take a look at what the opportunity is up there for you to have maybe a zero premium or a premium less than $100 a month. Because what we're finding out that 53% of people who are enrolling in these ACA plans with the higher tax subsidies are seeing premiums less than $100 a month.
Absolutely.
So Tom, we have 5 pitfalls to avoid when selecting an ACA plan. So if you're out there, you haven't pulled the trigger yet because you didn't know who to turn to, because you don't trust anybody or where you don't believe anybody, you can believe the agency in South Florida, the one agency that has earned the Ethics and Business Torch Awards from the Better Business Bureau, and that would be us, the Owen Insurance Group, located in Stuart, Florida. But number one, Tom, don't think that you can enroll in an ACA plan anytime you like. Now, listen, it's not about you. Now, I know that you probably think it is about you, but when it comes to enrolling in an ACA plan, you only have 2 times that you can enroll: during a special enrollment period or during the open enrollment period. And right now, August 15th is when the special enrollment period ends. So if you have not selected an ACA plan yet, you have less than 2 weeks to get this done. Or, Tom, they have to wait until when?
November 1st.
November 1st during the open enrollment period. And by the way, I'm happy and pleased to say that there are 2 new carriers that are becoming into the Treasure Coast for 2022. So now that opens up more opportunities to go with different companies. So United Healthcare, we're going to let the cat out of the bag this morning, but United Healthcare is one of the companies, and so is Aetna. I'm not going to touch that one as much as I'd love to. So again, call Owen Insurance Group. If you have a plan that you already have, you say, oh, I'm okay with what I have. Well, that's fine. But I can guarantee you, if you let us take a look at it, we can see how we can save you money. We probably can save you money, number one. And number 2, get you into a lower premium plan. Tom, what's number 2?
You're not limited just to the blues. Even though I love the blues, musically speaking, as Gary just said,
But you don't like the Florida blues.
I don't.
Well,
Anyway, there once was a carrier that was dominant and pretty much had the monopoly, and that was Florida Blue.
Yes.
And so now there's
And it gave everybody the blues.
it gave many people the blues, absolutely, because when you're the only game in town, guess what? You make all the rules, and so sometimes you get what's called fat, dumb, and happy.
Yes.
So not saying that they did. However, there is some competition. Oscar, Cigna, Ambetter, AvMed, Molina. Now, as Gary just mentioned, United Healthcare and Aetna for 2022.
Yeah, so that's great, man.
Competition breeds better benefits and for lower
It's
premiums.
good. It's good for our clients out there to have more competition. So as you said, I mean, having a monopoly is not good for you. It's not good for your premiums. So there are changes in the winds.
Mm-hmm.
And Tom had baked beans this past weekend, so be careful. Number 3.
What does that have to do with wind?
If you're out in the wind, downwind, you could be in trouble.
Could be barking spiders. I don't know about wind.
Number 3, don't trust pushy salespeople. And I will tell you, that's not the Lot Brothers. They're not pushy.
They're not pushy.
And don't push the Lot Brothers around either, because they don't take. They don't take
pushy.
pushy. Don't be pushy, and don't trust pushy salespeople. And case in point, we were just talking a little bit ago about this client with a quote from a company you had mentioned. I won't mention
a color,
but I won't mention the color. Yeah. But apparently, they did not give her the appropriate premium quote for what her income was. Absolutely lied to her to get the business, unfortunately. Yeah. And then after he did that, he tried to get her to do this. And by the way, you should change this policy. You should let us have this policy and let us do that policy, and pushed her and made her confused even more. So be careful of these pushy salespeople. You don't want to deal with those types of individuals. You want to deal with professionals. And that's the most important thing when you're dealing in this business, is to find the right people who are professionals and who have ethics in business, Tom.
Absolutely. And number 4, don't think that you have no accountability, because you must respond to DHS, Department of Homeland Security,
Human Services.
just checking, and CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. So, for example, if you get a letter and they're asking you to verify your income, you need to send some information to verify the income. Be prepared to back up the income. If you say you're only bringing in 50,000, but you're really bringing in 80,000, you're going to have to back that up.
Yeah, but I want a $0 premium, Tom.
Well, then you're only making 20,000, Mr. Owen, right? We can
All
get
right,
you
sign
that
me
zero,
up.
we can get you that 0 premium plan. And see, that blew up in the face of so many people, because unscrupulous agents who would just lower the estimated income for people, and just to get them this low or no premium plan. And then when you reconciled your taxes for 2021, that tax credit disappeared. And not only that, but you owe. So you do have a certain amount of time to risk or to respond, or you can risk losing your coverage. I tell some of the people, I keep telling them, we need to verify income. We need to verify income. And if they don't do it, I can only ask them so many times. If they don't want to provide that information, they can risk losing their coverage.
And
so,
to your point, Tom, we get calls, not a lot of calls, but we do get a certain amount of calls of people calling us who we've enrolled in an ACA health insurance plan at a really great premium. They're happy about that. And we tell them, listen, typically what happens is you're going to get a letter from the government, and they are going to want you to respond with proof of income. And if you neglect that, or you ignore that, guess what's going to happen to your policy?
it'll be pulled away from them.
So just be cognizant of that. And I never got an email. Come on, people. You have some accountability, right? So yeah, this is a great opportunity to get into an insurance policy, and one that you can afford, but there's some accountability on your part.
Absolutely. And again, as Gary just mentioned, you can be liable for not reporting correct amounts of income. So if you anytime you lie to the government or lie to anyone, it's, with the intent to get a gain, that's called fraud. Insurance fraud is a terrible thing. I know Gary, Frankie and Joe mentioned this in the roofing, in a lot of the claims on properties, but that can happen in health insurance as well. You could be liable, and I don't know the punishments, but there are.
But what if I just neglected? I just had I forgot, a momentary lapse, and I just, instead of saying I make 80,000, I thought it was 50, and the 5 looks like an 8. I just made a mistake.
Well, then that will be corrected on your tax credit, or you will owe. In other words, you owe. So off to work you go.
Well,
you're going to owe a lot.
Or off to jail you go.
Or off to jail you
go.
go.
Not
I mean, if there's intentional fraud and it can be proved, but if there was a mistake, you will pay the consequences.
And then number 5, again, as we mentioned earlier in the show, do business with a local, ethical, reputable business who's been in the community for some time. Do not do business with a call center. You hear these commercials like Joe Namath and JJ Dynamite. Please, people. You get what you deserve if you don't do the right thing. And there are people out there to take advantage of you. And if you don't see that, pick up the phone, call the Lott Brothers, call Own Insurance Group, and we will school you on how that works. But just honestly, though, seriously, be very careful. Use a local agency. Don't be afraid to go on the Department of Insurance website to do your own due diligence on that entity. Use Google, check to see their Google score and their ratings and their reviews. Check them on the BBB, Better Business Bureau, to make sure they are who they say they are and that they have a good reputation. Frankie and Joe, am I spot on or what?
Oh,
Right on, Gary. That's a very good point. It is a very good point. I mean, yes, local agent, they know the area. Even though that Frankie and I do cover the state of Florida, we do, we've been to those areas. We know those areas. We do have a carrier that came in. They're out of, I want to say, Chicago. They've never even been here, and they're writing some homes in Florida. They have no idea the risk they're taking on and what they need to look for. So Gary's right. Local agent. Again, thank you, Tom and Gary. You guys are great. And
And
great
by
to
the
be with
way,
you guys
Joe,
today.
thank you guys for coming on. Frankie, give our audience your contact information. How do they reach out to you?
That is Lot Insurance Services, Fort Pierce, Florida, all over the Treasure Coast in Tampa. We're at 4808 South US 1 in Fort Pierce, 772-468-1009. And find us on the web at www.lotins.com.
And also, if you're looking for life, health, Medicare, disability, individual health insurance, group health insurance, dental vision insurance, hospital indemnity insurance, accident insurance, we do it all at Owen Insurance Group. And again, we're located at 1611 Northwest Federal Highway, just north of the Roosevelt Bridge, right behind Key West Diner and next to Beaches MRI. Our phone number, 772-210-1020. And you can find us on the World Wide Web at www.owen, no S on Owen. Don't you dare put an S on my name. OwenInsuranceGroup.net. You know, so many people do that. And then they call me up, so you gave me the wrong website. No,
Owens.
you added S to my name. And by the way, real quick, we have like 90 seconds left. Number 10 on last week's show, like one of the top 10 tips. And by the way, we missed it again, Tom. So we're going to have to cover this maybe next show. But we got some great information that we were able to share with everyone today. And I think the biggest question that people are asking is, how do you choose the right agent or the agency to work with? And I've alluded to that earlier when I said, make sure you work with an independent insurance brokerage here in the Treasure Coast in the state of Florida that has your best interest at heart. All right, that's a wrap for this week's show. Next week, our special guest on our show will be the lovely Christina Stamper with Madison's Miracles. We're glad to have her on the show with us. And guess what? Yep, you guessed it. Tom and I will be here again, continually providing valuable insurance planning solutions for you. We truly thank you this morning for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed the show. I know you did. If you didn't, you're not listening. We're paying attention. Make sure you share us with your friends, your family, your neighbors, your enemies. Stay safe, keep healthy, be happy, and enjoy your quality of life.